Good morning, and Randy Green here. This is going to be one of the videos where you're not going to look at me because the important thing here is to listen. So this is a story. I'm going to tell you a story, and the story is a matter of getting some kind of inspiration as well as getting the energy of the story. And here it goes. You're out walking on the street and you're just going in your own little world where you're doing your usual stuff, going down the street, thinking about today and tomorrow, and perhaps a conversation with one of your friends, and you're listening to music in your ears. You're not really being very observant. And then suddenly you kind of stop up, you hold a little bit and you think to yourself, I wonder, was that building there yesterday? And you kind of look at that building and thinking, wow, it's actually quite big, so it must have been there yesterday. It can't just gone rose overnight. And you think to yourself, but I go here every day. Why haven't I noticed it before? Why haven't I seen it before? And you kind of think to yourself, that's interesting. That's actually quite interesting. Why haven't I noticed that building before? And because you kind of have this hold and this moment where you kind of feel, this is different. The energy is different here. There's something different here. There's something else going on. I can feel it. My cells are vibrating in a weird sense, and my heart is beating, and I'm kind of get a little bit dizzy, just a little bit. And you look at the building and you think to yourself, that's interesting. You move a little bit closer and you look at it and you look up. It's quite big, actually. Quite a lot of stories, up. And you look at it and think to yourself, that's really, really interesting. And then you begin noticing the people that are coming out of the building. They're laughing and they're looking in a way that you're kind of thinking, that's interesting. Why? They kind of look as if they got more energy. It looks like if they're kind of, And then you look around, you look at the other people around you thinking, oh, that's the difference. The people around you just kind of looking like hangy faces and tired and closed off, and they just kind of walk around a little bit like zombies. And then you look at the people from the firm and you think, wow, the big company there. You think to yourself, that's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder what they are doing. But then you look at the same time, you're also looking at some other people that are coming out, actually looking and then thinking, oh, that energy is not good. That's not good. So that company must be a little bit mixed. There must be some different energies going on there. And then you think to yourself, why am I thinking in terms of energy? I don't think in terms of energy. That's not how I do things. But then you kind of observe that while you're looking at that company and that building, it does something to your brain. It does something to your perception. It's like being pulled into a different reality that's right there. In the middle of this reality, it's right there. And it's been there all along, you just haven't noticed it. And then you kind of think to yourself, I think I'll go home and Google it. I think I'll go home and investigate a little bit what that company is all about. And you go home and you have this feeling of energy in you that's kind of running around, making you a little bit uncomfortable, and at the same time it's making you a little bit excited because you know you're onto something. You know you're onto something that's different. It's different. You've seen a glimpse of something that's different, but you can't really pinpoint what it is because your brain is kind of it's saying, no. You're just imagining things. This is just you making things up. This is just because you're having a boring life and you're inventing things. It's just because you saw that movie yesterday where things were funny and there was this whole kind of superhuman things going on. So no, you're just inventing it. But you know somewhere deep inside of you, you kind of know, No, I had an experience of something that was profound. And I can feel it in my heart and I can feel it in me. I feel something has shifted. Something is different. And I want to explore what that difference is because it has awoken something in me. Something I want. I want what they have got. It's not a matter of, as a kind of you think to yourself, it's not a matter of, my life is boring, so I want to do something else. It's just a kind of you're looking around at the life you have now and just thinking to yourself, I want to do something new. I actually want to do something new. I want to create a new storyline. Because you think to yourself, if I look at my life, and I look how it works and what I'm doing, and I love my family, and I love my children, or I love my partner, and all these kind of things, it's good. I kind of explored that. I kind of done that already. It's kind of outlived in a way. Or you're young and you think to yourself, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my life? Where am I going to go from here? Which education am I supposed to take? What am I going to participate in? And you investigate all these different versions of reality and what you can do on the internet and all these kind of things. It's just taking you kind of away from this reality. And you think to yourself, yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's entertainment and that's all good and fine. But I want to do something with my life here, this life. And I think that company might be able to give me something because we're old school here. So you're a little bit into the whole kind of whatever you need will show up when you need it. So you kind of think to yourself, yeah, this is probably what I've been looking for. So I won't let this one go because there's energy on it. I feel the energy. It might not be totally okay all the way through and through, but there's energy there. And I'm going for the energy because it's an adventure and I want to explore what that is about. So you sit down and you Google the company and you look in and you see, are there many different departments? And they are actually offering education, and you can also see some of the departments are kind of not a little bit too dodgy for your taste. No, you don't want to go there. It's kind of, no, I don't want that department. But then you look into some of the other ones thinking, there's a really good thing going on there. And then you think to yourself, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. And then you put it aside and you just kind of go other ways to work and you continue your life a little bit and you've forgotten all about the company and all the things that you used to do there or you did that day. And you move on in your daily rhythm, being content and satisfied and kind of a little bit bored perhaps. And then you do a little bit more videos on YouTube and you get into a little bit more about the aliens and stuff and get a little thrill from that one and thinking, oh, that's interesting. But I'm actually not seeing any UFOs and no, there are actually no aliens in my living room. So it's just it's just in the mind, it's just in the head. These people must have a good fantasy. And you continue your life and a month goes by, perhaps two. And then by some odd coincidence, you go by that street again. And this time when you pass by, the company is even more bright. It's even bigger. It's even kind of, you think, wow, it has expanded. It's kind of filling the whole street now. What is going on here? What is it that I'm missing? What is it that I am looking into? And then you just stop up again and you look at the company and you think to yourself, okay, last time I was here, I was actually thinking it was quite interesting. Perhaps I should figure out a way to apply for that company. So you kind of made the decision. Said to yourself, yeah, I want to apply. Because whatever's going on there, it can only be better. And what's going on? It's a little bit of a reaction. I know that. It's a little bit kind of reaction. But it's also a matter of kind of being ready for something else, being ready for something new. And you're ready to explore yourself in a new way. And you're ready to expand yourself in a new way. And say to yourself, I want to do more with my life. I want to create a new storyline. This is where it's very important because the whole storyline of your life is a kind of how you have made it up for yourself. When you were younger, if you sit down and think a little bit, when you were younger, you thought to yourself, no, I want to study psychology because then I can help people, then I can do this, then I can do that. And you were envisioning how you were going to do this, how you're going to sit in that position, how you're going to help people and talk to people. Or you thought to yourself, I want to do nutrition because I want to know what health is. I want to help people with health. And you envisioned that. You saw that image for yourself doing this, talking to people. Or you thought to yourself, I want to investigate items and gadgets and stuff. And you saw yourself doing this. That's the storyline. So the storyline here is that the world company. And you're kind of looking at that one and you're thinking, okay, the whole world is a kind of one big company. That's the storyline. And you're already in it. You're already hired, so to speak, but you are kind of a little bit not really in it. You're in it without being in it because you haven't really committed to it. You haven't committed to whatever's going on in the company. You haven't really looked into it and understood the rules of it, the secret culture, the hidden rules that are in any company. All companies have their own hidden cultures. That means that people who are in a specific department, they work in a specific way. They have a specific tone. They have a specific way they're around each other. Or if you go into another department, they have a different tone and a different way of being around each other. And when you recruit people for a company, you have to look at that department. Who are the people who's already there? How do they work? How do they function? What's their culture? How is their daily lives going by? What they're talking about? What's their state of mind? Their behavior, their moods, their personalities. When you recruit people, you look into that department, you get the sense of the culture, the people, the little society that's actually there. And when you hire a new person, that person has to fit into that culture, because otherwise you go totally wrong. But it's also important that that person is not too comfortable there, because then there will be no development. So it's always a matter of, when you hire people, to find the right in between, where you're actually a little bit kind of, yeah, they have to fit in, but they also have to be a little bit different to create a dynamic. And when you look at these departments in the company and you look what they are up against or can do, and you look into this, say, okay, that's accounting, that's marketing, whatever the labels are of these departments, or healing, or whatever they are, yoga retreat, or whatever, the whole company has got a lot of departments. And you kind of look into them, and you investigate a little bit about what it's actually about, not just what you're thinking in your head. Because one of the things that typically goes wrong when we apply for a position in a company is that we have all of these fantasies about what it's supposed to be, and we haven't really looked into what it actually is. So when we do go to the conversation where we get hired or fired, so to speak, or not hired, that is that is where we kind of get a match up to our fantasies, or kind of get a little bit, okay, I was totally off. And this is where the person you're talking to also knows that, okay, this person had really not investigated well enough what it meant to be part of this department. So that's important. That's one of the grown-up rules. You don't go in and apply for a job without knowing what you're actually doing, what you're actually applying for, and at the same time also know what you have to offer. That's very, very important. You don't go in and apply for a job without knowing what you can offer. And the same goes with the world department, what we're dealing with here. Because it's a matter of consciousness and energy in this company. So many normal companies in this world, they run for earning money. The world company works with a different type of money, different types of currency. These currencies are energy and consciousness. And in some department, it's all about allocation of consciousness and energy, the allocation, the resources. You can say the allocations of services and goods are the energy, the buying of stuff, the selling of stuff. The most important product is the consciousness. So there are many different levels in this company where these are part of the how it works there. And each section of the company is taking care of these different functions of energy and consciousness, and how they are traded or allocated or being used. So there are the resources, there are the allocation, and there are the services. And all of this is part of the company and the way how it runs. And you want to be part of that company, but for you it's not the trade thing, perhaps that's interesting. You could be. You can go into logistic, you could go into where you kind of buy stuff, I can't remember what it's called in English, purchasing thing for the company, where you buy things into the company, so everybody's working there will get what they need. Or you can be in trade, you could be the one that sells it off to other markets, other companies, other places. And it's very interesting, because one day when you're passing by, this is taking you a little bit of time, because you're not doing it quickly, because this is a career shift. You have to think things through. It's not just a matter of saying, yeah, on a whim, I'll go there, and then you do it. You can do so. But you can kind of feel this is an estimated company. There's a lot, it's got its name, and it's got goodwill, and you have searched it and you looked it up. It's got a lot of stock on the stock market. It's an old company. It's very old. So you kind of know that being hired there will demand a little bit of you. It's not just kind of something that you can just go in and then you just leave. You know that if I go into that company, if I shift myself and make that career shift, begin to educate myself and figure out if this is something I want to do, then that will change my life, and I will probably not leave that company. So you know this is an important career shift. You know, this is something that will live up to all your ambitions. This is the company that will ensure that whatever you want to do, you can do, because you know in that company you can shift between the departments. Once you're in, you don't have to apply for a job anywhere else. You're in and you can educate yourself within the company because you looked that one up. And you can see that while you're in it, there are a lot of departments, there are a lot of things you can experience there, and you can make a full career in there, which goes with you can begin on one level and then you can work your way up. And you can work your way up to the top where you become a partner. And you know that, and you just know that intuitively, and you think to yourself, yeah, you can feel the ambition kind of roaring around in your chest, and you say, yeah, I want to do this. I want to be part of that company because there's something really, really good going on there. And you know, there are also things that are not so good. But you know that's because it's an old company. It's got these different departments. And you know that. You kind of know that because you've been a little bit around and you've been doing a little bit here and there. Or you might be totally naive and think everybody in there is jolly fine and everything is good. But then when you get in, you will learn that there are different people and different rules and different departments. And each one of them have their different functions. And some of them do stuff you might not totally agree with. But then you think to yourself, I want to work my way up. I will get up to the top and then I will begin change this. I will change these departments. I will find the people that will do it in a different way. Or I will educate the ones that are already in the department and teach them how to do this differently. So you have this little bit of self-confidence. Kind of know a little bit, I can do this, I can. I've been around, I know what I can do. I'm not stupid, I'm not some newbie that just came in with the foretrain, as we said in Denmark, and I kind of know what I'm dealing with. I've handled my family, I handled myself, I've gone so far, but I know I can go further. I know I can do more. I can do more. I'm not using my potentials. It's kind of getting a little bit annoying for you that you're not really using your potentials. And you have tried. You have to kind of try it outside the company. And you have kind of tried on your own, and that has also been good and fulfilling. And you kind of know that even though you kind of go into that company and you say, okay, I'll become part of it, you also kind of know that there are different options there because you've investigated it further. And you kind of looked in and you've seen, well, some of them are actually not working in the building. They're kind of actually working outside as consultants. So that's possible too. So there can be some kind of loose affiliation going on there, but all depending on what department it is. Because some of them are kind of really, really good and benevolent, so to speak, and doing a lot of good. And check that one up as well. And you think, yeah, no, I want to be part of that team. That intrigues me. It makes sense to me to be part of that team. But again, it's kind of, I don't think I'm really ready to engage myself that much. I'm not ready. I don't feel ready. I don't feel equipped enough. I don't feel good enough. I don't feel strong enough. Whatever's going on, these are usual things that you kind of get this back and forth. And kind of at the beginning saying, yeah, I can do it. And then you give it a little second thought. And you think, nah, it's probably not for me. And then you walk away and you go home to your normal life and you do the stuff that you usually do, your normal job and all those kind of things. While you're in your normal job or your normal study or whatever you're doing, you keep thinking about that company. And you keep thinking about the possibilities and you keep thinking about the potentials that you have that you're not really using in the version of yourself you're having now. Your storyline has kind of outgrown it. It's not fun anymore. It's not really giving you what you need. It's just kind of become a treadmill. It's just a repetition. Yeah, it was fun years ago doing this, but today I want to do something different. So you sit down. You sit down with pen and paper and you write down your strengths and you write down your weaknesses and you take a little bit of a look at yourself. You're being honest with yourself. Look at yourself saying, this I can do. And you look at your skills and you haven't applied for a new job for a long time, so you haven't really upgraded your resume. So you go in and you upgrade your resume and you think, what capacities do I actually have? It's not, and when you do this, it's not just about looking at the capacities and what functions you have had. Of course, if you are going to do a resume where you apply for a real job out there, this is not how you're going to do it. But this is for the world company. But you can still do the same drill when you are going to apply for a new job in the outer world, outside the company, so to speak. But you are kind of saying to yourself, okay, I'm looking at my strengths and my weaknesses. And that is where you go in and you're being honest about your personality. Because that's very important, that you kind of know who and what you are. And then you look at some of the weaknesses that you have, and then you say to yourself, I can change this. I can change this. It's just because I've been lazy. I haven't really done my training on my personality. I just kind of let it float a little bit around, just being who I was and making the same mistakes and whatever. That's a training matter. You can train yourself in many ways to develop your personality, and that's part of it. So you kind of think to yourself, if I want to go into that business, the world business, where I participate actively in the world, changing the world, making it a better place, there are some of the things about my personality I will have to change. Because if I go into the department of making changes and teach people how to behave in a way that will benefit us all, I will have to be exactly the same myself. So that's the first step. The first step is to look at yourself and be honest about yourself. Looking into all your little dodgy businesses and all the ways that you're kind of trying to dodge the progression work, or you're kind of saying, no, if I do it this way, then I go the fast way, and then I can do this and that, whatever, and that will give a quicker outcome, or that will give a quicker benefit, or that will whatever. And you know this is a little bit scam kind of, but you're still doing it because you want the money, or you need the money, or you want the results, or whatever it is. You've been a little bit kind of taking the easy paths a little bit too much perhaps. And you know that if you do go into the world business, and if you do participate in that one, that's one of the things you have to let go of. You can't lie, you can't cheat, you can't do these kind of things where you're half in, half out, and this kind of just, no, it's all good, I can do this, and all these stupid explanations you give yourself. It's just you can't go out teaching others to behave nice if you don't behave nice yourself. So applying for the world business is kind of looking a little bit deep into yourself and be honest with yourself and realize, yeah, I lied there. Yeah, I cheated there. Yeah, I did the quick business there because I just wanted to earn the money, and I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyways. So these are some of the things where you decide for yourself, okay, this is the first step. No more of that. I have to be honorable all the way through. If I'm going to teach others to be honorable, I have to be impeccable in my honesty. I have to be honorable in all my ways. I have to be authentic. I have to be exactly what I am, but in a way that's not harmful to others. I can't cheat. I can't lie. I can't dodge the bullets. I cannot not take responsibility. There's a lot of things I have to learn myself, because I want to get into that estimated old company there, and I want to participate there. And if some of the other departments are not really working well, I can't go in and say, well, you have to do this differently. If they look at you and they look back and say, yeah, remember when you did this, remember when you did that? No, that won't work. So I have to straighten up first. I have to get my ducks in a row. I have to get everything in order first. I have to treat my family right. I have to treat my neighbors right. I have to treat my co-workers right. I have to go to work every day in the position I'm already in and being honorable in everything I do. And if people do piss me off, I am still allowed to be angry, but I will do it in a way that's not harmful. I will do it in a way that will lead to solutions. I will learn all the correct communication skills. I will learn how to be around other people in a way where everybody gets what they need, in a way that will be optimal for all of us. So that the way that we're working together, being together, helping each other, will make everybody kind of think, this is good, this is fun, this is a good way to live. Nobody will go home from work feeling that they have kind of had a crappy day and being angry and sad and dragging it home to their families and whatever. Or in the morning having the big yell with your partner, and then you go to work and you're one big dark cloud affecting everybody in your workplace. So these are some of the beginning points which you kind of know this is important when you apply to get into the big company. These are some of the things you need to look at first. And then you also look at your skills, as in kind of what do I have in my luggage? What is actually in me, in my personality? Not just what you've been doing of physical work, but actually kind of what are your capacity? What are your potentials in terms of energy and consciousness? And most of you don't know that because you haven't looked into it. You just kind of dabbled a little bit around, or you've done the spiritual teachings, or you followed the old ways and you've done all of these exercises, but that hasn't really led you to understand what type of capacity you've got in terms of energy and consciousness. What is on your resume? What have you been doing? What's past lives? And not just on this planet, because we've all been peasants and kings and queens or soldiers or weird normal human stuff similar to what we're doing today. These are not the capacities. The capacities are the ones that you had before you came here. Or in some of the civilizations we had here on the planet, which were very high leveled. These are the capacities that the world firm needs. Not the peasants, not the warriors, not these kind of normal soldiers, not warriors, but soldiers, there's a difference. Not the foot soldiers, the pawns in all their ways. There's enough pawns. So this is for the ambitious ones. And you're ambitious, you want to be ambitious, you want to upgrade, you want to do something different. And you know the moment you get into that world firm and be part of it, whether it's on a loose basis or in one of the departments or whatever you want to do, or you strive up to rise up to a high position, you know that that moment when you apply for that company, your world would change. So you need to prepare yourself a little bit of preparation. These are some of the preparation steps I'm giving you here. And you can do the whole there are different ways that you apply for the firm. Sometimes that's one position available. Other times they're making these big rounds where they invite a lot of people in at the same time. And you do have a talk with one of their consultants or one of the recruiters. And you kind of get a feel of what they actually require from you, what they need from you. And you know that when you go in there, and if you do talk with one of the recruiters, you'll know, I've known this my entire life. I know this is what is necessary of me. I heard it 1,000 times. Why haven't I lived up to these standards? Why haven't I done that? Why haven't I lived up to the energetic standards of our reality when I know it? I kind of been breastfed with it from everything around me. And then you think to yourself, yeah, because I let myself get very, very distracted with all of the nice things that are being offered around me as distractions. I get too distracted. So that is one of the other things that you say to yourself, okay, I need to learn to center myself. So I know that what I'm putting my energy into and what I'm looking at and what I want to achieve, I will reach these goals because I center my energy, because I'm focused in what I want to achieve. And I have no doubt. So these are some of the first things. You have to be impeccable and honorable in your ways as a human. That's one of the first things. The good departments in the world firm don't want the cheaters, the liars, and the sneaky ones, and the ones that are trying to make quick money, doing dodgy things that you kind of know is exploiting others, or exploiting another race, or exploiting another human, or exploiting another animal, or exploiting anything. You don't want to do this. This is not about exploiting things. We don't want to do that. That's not the world firm. I know there are departments in the world firm that are a little bit dodgy and edgy and kind of on the edge of what is actually what's supposed to be done. But the company's working with that, and there are sister companies that are working under the big company that are not really following the policy of the main company, and these are being taken care of slowly but surely. It takes time. This is part of education, and sometimes they get fired, and sometimes they actually get exported outside the world company to other systems and other planets where these type of personalities fit better in. So this is all being taken care of. The world company is not a little bit of a little business where nobody knows what they are doing. It's a big machinery, and there's many different departments and many different people and many different skills and many different types of consciousness, and it's all part of how to make the world company work. And yes, there are a lot of upgrading going on, and some of the ways are kind of outdated, and it's been worked on as well, but there's still a couple of the board members who are a little bit old school, and they need a little bit of time to come around and understand that the new ways are good too. And you know that because when you get hired into a company, you know there are all of these fluctuations of different things. Some of the things you like and some of the things you don't like. And you can get the whole kind of getting pissed about the things you don't like in a company, and you can begin nagging about it and about it. But all that kind of comes out of it is that it ruins your day Because the more you nag about it, the more you kind of about it, the more negative you become. So no, it's kind of let the ones that know how to deal with it, let them take care of it. And you focus on what you've been hired for, what you have skills for, what your capacity is. And you make that one grow and you make that department thrive. And you participate in that culture and that department and make it blossom so that everybody will prosper in that department. And that will slowly affect the other departments, because if your department works well, it will affect the others. And eventually the whole company, including the old dinosaurs in the top, will say, yeah, that department is working well. There's definitely a market for it. It's working. It's definitely working, especially if it kind of spreads out and affect other companies who are looking at the big company and saying, yeah, that's a good one. We want to do the same. So it's all a matter of setting a standard, setting a role, setting this is how I want to do. That's the beginning point. So the beginning point is kind of looking at your daily life and saying, okay, I want to apply for the big company. But I know if I'm going to go in there and participate in that one, I have to be honorable and impeccable and live up as the first thing to the highest energetic standards. And that is that you learn to administer your personal energy and your physical energy. And that goes with what you eat, and that goes with how you feel and how you think. And these are some of the first steps of your personal development ambition, where you've made a kind of looked at yourself and you know these are the levels I need to work with. And then you decide to yourself, because you want to be part of the developmental department, or you want to be part of these departments in the world company that is going for a better reality, that's going for lesser pollution, that's going for a better world, that's going for humans being together, having fun, no matter where they come from, no matter what race they're representing, no matter what state they are in. And you look at yourself and you say to yourself, how am I going to change so I will be the first of that type of race? What do I need to change in myself? What do I need to look at in myself? And how do I develop these new personal skills? How do I let go of the old ways I used to do, which I knew was not okay? And how do I cleanse myself out in such a way that I energetically always will be on top of the game every day, so I will be as much present as I can in the now. So I observe energy every moment of the day, in me and around me, so that the energy I'm in is not just swooping me away, and I'm not just walking around sleeping. I'm actually observant and in the now all the time, and learn to be that. Even though I'm talking to another person, I'm still observing the energies. I'm having what's called double awareness, the normal way of being, and at the same time observing energy. Energy in the exchange between you and the other person, energy in how you administer your own energy, energy in what you eat, energy in what you do in your daily basis, in your already existing work, the work you already have, the family you already have, the partner you already have. Begin to observe the energies, and no judgment, no judgment. It's just a matter of observing the energies. How does it make you feel? What does it do to you? Where does it affect you? Which part of your body gets affected by that energy? Does it cause pain? Does it cause happiness? What does it do to your emotional body when you encounter that type of energy? And this is where you will say to yourself, I want to learn to administer energy. I want to learn to administer my reality much better. And you will go out and you will find the schools that will teach you that. You can go either into the old wisdom master schools, the Tanaka schools, or you can go wherever you want to go. You can go to some of the other teaching institutes that are out there now, which I don't know the names of. And you can do whatever you want to do. Or you can also go to and take my classes. Of course, you can take my classes. This is some of the things that we are working with. The administration of energy, the administration of your personality, the administration of changing the way you think and feel, the understanding of reality from a higher perspective, the double awareness, learning to understand energy, how it operates in our reality, what our reality is all about, learning to see it from the double awareness, that you just don't go into a building. It's not just a building. If you go into any company on this planet, there will be symbols, there will be colors, It will actually be when you walk in the door of that building, you will go into a different reality. And you will. If you observe the energy, you will see that. And if you get really good at observing the energies, you'll kind of know, this is actually gray jurisdiction. No, this is actually Baal jurisdiction. That's interesting. These are actually Orions. No. Actually, this is kind of Syrian A's. And you will get that understanding very clearly when you learn to sense energy and you kind of detect it, what the different race signature is in the different buildings, the different people that are hired in the different companies, or the different jurisdictions as they're called. Different parts of your city will be under different jurisdictions. When you drive past in your street and you're noticing the signs will tell you which jurisdiction you're in. That's the double awareness. You begin in this physical reality to observe the hidden reality that's right behind. It's there all over the place. It's hidden right there in front of you. The only reason why you haven't seen it is because you're not using your double awareness. You are way too centered into your human ways of seeing things, thinking there's only this reality here, and whatever is spiritual is somewhere else, or somewhere above, or somewhere far away. But actually it's right here. It's right there. Go into the city. When you have the double awareness, when you have the energy sensation, you will notice that people stop being people. They will have an energy emission. And when you get really skilled, you will see, wow, they have got a different type of genetics. You will, at some point, some of them will probably present themselves to look like different mammals. Or you can see, wow, that's actually Syrian that's going there. Oh, wow, that's a Syrian A. Or whatever is going on, you will begin to detect these things. And if you get really skilled, some of them will actually have something that's called a booby trap in them. So when you look at them, they will attack you. So going into cities and going into places where a lot of people is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to alter your whole perception of reality, what it is. So the whole looking for spirituality and other realities being something that is outside here or somewhere else or in the past or in the future, whatever, is already here. The reason why you're not seeing it is because you have not explored and expanded your awareness into see it. In this reality, you have made a little thing in your head because that's what you've been taught, that it's somewhere else. Or you're stuck in the whole kind of weird souls inside this reality, and this reality is what it is, and when I die, I pull out as a soul into another reality. No. There are no soul realities. This is one of these realities. You're already here. This is a soul reality like everything else. The soul kingdoms are already here. I don't use that expression, you know that, because it's one of the false belief systems, and it's just making a dichotomy or a division in you, and you don't need the division. So let's get the division out of the way and look at saying this reality already is infused with all of the other higher levels of realities. It's already there. And if you look into some of the new cities in Abu Dhabi or in Azerbaijan, in Baku, for instance, and other cities where they're beginning all of these new fancy buildings made of metal and glass and round and all these kind of things, they're getting ready. They're getting ready for the next energies to express themselves much more into this physical reality. And my teachings is bridging into that as well, because I'm teaching you to observe the higher energies that are already here all around you and not something that's hidden. It's, as we say in the old days, the veil is going, the veil is disappearing. But it's not disappearing, it's actually you who's beginning to work with your full capacities. It's been here all along. You just haven't noticed it because you've been too busy in your own mind, having your head full of music and normal human thinking. So this is the first thing that you are going to learn and change. And this is where you begin the work with what I've kind of told you here. It begins with yourself. And it begins with you looking deep into yourself and being honest about yourself and who and what you are. And then you begin changing the way you absorb energy and administer energy. And that goes with what you eat. And that's why I'm saying you have to be a plant fruitarian. And it goes with how you think, which means you have to learn to observe and administer your thought processes. And it goes with how you feel, which means you have to learn to observe how energy affects you when you're around other people and what you do to yourself with these emotional energies, combined with the way you're thinking. Are you pulling yourself down, or are you learning how to administer yourself in a way that will make you expand yourself? So these are some of the first steps, and that's where the whole basics comes in. That's what we focus on quite a lot, because that's the first difficult part of the learning process. And quite a lot of the races out there and different people are saying, I don't want to do that. I just want to activate. I just want to activate as quickly as possible. And that is definitely possible. But as I said, this is not the way I'm doing it, because I want people in the world company that are able to set the standard for others, so that you become one of the way showers. You become one of the ones that can go out and say to others without being a missionary, without imprinting them, without being anything that comes out of your mouth, because it's in your whole behavior. It's everything you are. You don't even have to say anything. People know it. They know the energy. Because if your energy standards are of the highest rate, that will blossom out from you. That will be your emission field. That will be the first thing that people feel. And they will know that, and they will not feel intimidated by you, or they will not get set off by some hidden energy pattern you have no control of. There will be no projection game. There will be no kind of, oh, what's going on here? There will be no quarrel. There will be no debating. There will be no nothing, because the energy in you and around you will be of such a high standard that the people around you want to do the same. And if they can't, they will go away, because they know they can't be in that light. They can't be in that standard. They can't be around among that energy. And that's some of the first struggle that you will have, because that is going to be a little bit of struggle with yourself, as well as with some of the other forces that are also here in this reality, which you will encounter when you begin doing this energy work. And that is the first step of the journey. And that's the most difficult one for most of them, because that's where we work through what's called the distortion layers. And they hold a lot of interesting stuff. Most of it is actually what's in your own template. That means the moment you begin working correctly with energy, your template will activate. And when that activates, that will begin putting in all of your memories and all the stuff that you have been doing in this life and other lives and other places, and all your memories and all your consciousness, which is called bleep through. And all of these things will begin come back when you have the right energy setting. And this is some of the first steps that is also difficult, because this is actually this reality, or is it your personal field from your template? And most of the cases, it's your personal field. But that's also a learning of mastery of energy, and that's where you cleanse out your transgressions and your past and all the things that you have brought with you into this system, and you learn to administer that. Because when you work in the world company, one of the things that are most important of all is that you adjust yourself to the culture, and you accept that there are rules, and you accept that there are ways of behaving in this company. And of course, you're not just going to go off with all of your shit. You don't do that in the normal life, and of course, we don't do it in the world company either. But it's not a matter of kind of suppressing ourselves and becoming something that we are not, or playing a role. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that you change your energy signature and your energy standards in a way so that you will become harmless. You will not harm anybody at all in any ways or any forms. And that does not mean you become a Zen master and float around like Yoda. That is not what we're talking about. It's a matter of administering your energies and knowing when to be strong and knowing when to be less strong. Knowing when to say no and learning when not to say no. Discernment of your energy, discernment of how you're going to respond in that moment, how you're going to act in that moment, how you're going to be around other people. And that goes with the double awareness, because as a matter of fact, you can only respond correctly if you know who and what the person is that's in front of you. So if you're standing in front of a Syrian, you will know how to respond with that energetically. Or if you're standing in front of one of the Orions that turned into a cricket and has that in its field, you will know how to respond to that one. You will know how to respond that when you go to work in your total normal life, you will know that you can pull all of your spirituality and all of your high awareness, because I don't like the word spirituality, but you will take all of your high awareness, the double awareness of energy and this world, having different forms of energy, and you will learn to administer that in this life, right there in your job. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to let go of your spouses. You don't have to let go of everything and go to a retreat or an ashram and pull out of this reality. You can do it all right here in it, because it's part of higher realities and has always been part of it, or lower realities as well, because there are lower realities too. And all of this is gathered in the people around you. Each person has an entrance point into high awareness or lower awareness. And whatever you are energetically in that moment will be what will be reflected for you in that person. So your reality will mirror back what you are energetically, in all ways and all means. So these are some of the steps that you will learn and you will have to administer. And this is not done over 1 week. This is a process where you learn to administer energy as you get your double awareness back. So that's the first step. Want to apply for the World Company? This is the first step. Thank you.